Question. I was just wondering what you do is your way of becoming more present or grounded and being able to uh, integrate little bits of mindfulness into your day. I hope you let us know. I'd love to hear what you're doing. Aloha. Podcast highlight. Being driven. It can be good. We can be someone who accomplishes a lot, is the person who gets things done. But focusing too much on the future and getting ourselves out of the present moment can cause more anxiety by worrying about things that don't or will not happen. It gives us that future thinking. We're living in the future. And when we notice that we're doing that, we need to bring ourselves back into the present moment.
Well, I usually try to listen to music or go for walks or basically anything that I can do will get me out of my apartment.
For me, meditation is my medication for being mindful. For at least 5 minutes twice a day, I have to go deep in, breathe in love and light, breathe out love and light, so I can be in those moments and cherish those moments.
I like the daily meditation type thing, but what I actually find the most effective for me is when I'm in the middle of a situation to be able to pause and just take a couple of deep breaths and kind of recenter myself, reground myself. It doesn't always work, but it's getting better. I do try to do a daily meditation, but I so far haven't found it as effective as the in the moment mindful approach.
What I do is I usually stop whatever I'm doing, during the day when I'm feeling that way, and I take 3 deep breaths and I focus on the moment, like you said, right now. Because if I don't do that, I find myself definitely thinking the future, tomorrow, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I mean, it just does overwhelm me. And I find when I stop and I take 3 deep breaths and I am in that moment, it sort of helps me to, come back and ground my mind to not go into those thoughts of tomorrow, what do I got to. But I also meditate, right now I'm up to 20 minutes a day. I meditate 20 minutes a day, and that helps so much. And it really does make me focus on, the moment now, not, and when my mind does go into the mode of it doesn't want to shut down, because our minds just keep going and going sometimes and doesn't allow us to meditate. They taught me to just allow the thought to, allow it to come into your head and just let it float by like a cloud. And then that's it. Okay, I acknowledged it, and now I'm going to go back to, to meditating. And it just really has helped me so much, because I do suffer from anxiety. So it really does affect us when we do that, thinking about tomorrow and what I got to do, and I need to do this, and it just really overwhelms some of us. I'm one of those people. Overwhelms me. Can't. But I do that throughout the day. Take 3 deep breaths and just sort of have also quiet silence helps me. Don't have the TV on, don't have the radio on too much, or the music, just silence. And the silence helps me also to bring myself, to that moment of mindfulness of the now, in this moment.
Hello, how are you? There are many things I do to keep myself grounded and mindful. One of the things that I do is I remind myself that things tend to pass and to help myself focus on the here and now. And to be mindful, I tend to do little things like taking deep breaths, closing my eyes, and just relaxing and let things go. Using sometimes music as a way to just clear my mind and focus on the present, or just sometimes use my cat by just playing with her or petting her, and just helps me center myself. So those are the things that I do to ground myself and be mindful.
Okay, so yes, I can get into spirals where my imagination is going crazy and I'm worrying about things. And some things that I do to return to the present are if I'm in the workplace, I will take a step out of the office and kind of walk around, put some music on my headphones, and that sort of helps. Also, I really enjoy swimming. And when I'm in the water, this is, of course, I wouldn't be swimming in the workplace, but at other points, when I swim, when I'm in the water, I feel that everything is fluid. And I feel like now if I have negative or overwhelming worry about the future, there's a sense of fluidity in the water that we have control of some things, and there are some things that we don't have control over. But there's always going to be a positive aspect. You know, water can kill you if you allow yourself to drown and breathe the water, but water can also be liberating because you're floating or you're swimming or what have you, and it can be a lot of fun. And it's in those moments when I'm in the pool that I can say, thank you, God. Thank you for this experience to be and to feel and to know that you're in control and I'm not. And I'm grateful that there is fluidity in the future.
What I do from day to day, me being one of those guys who do have a little bit of anxiety, I'm an antisocial kind of guy. I consider myself a responder. I pick something that somebody's talking about, and then I respond to that question with my own intellectual answer to that question. It's really good for conversation starting. Sometimes to keep my mind at ease, I try to just think of a song in my head, something that really gets the juices flowing. Then I'm dancing in my mind, and I feel like I'm relaxing from there.
Very interesting question. This is Ann, 64. There was a time in my life which I got hung up on the future and what's going to happen in the future. But I don't do that anymore. I do my very best to live every day as if it were my last day. I hope it's not going to be my last day, but I live pretty much in the present. Of course, we all have to think about the future. We all make plans that are going to happen in the future. But I think even worse than living in the future is living in the past, because that past will never come back to us. The future will eventually come to us, but the past will not. But I find that if I focus on what is happening now, I feel much better, actually. So that's my take on that subject. It's a very good subject to explore, but like I said, we all have to plan for our futures, but we live in the moment of the day.
So what I do to keep myself grounded and in the moment is I meditate, and I also just recently took up journaling, and it's been very effective. And I am driven, but I just don't focus on the future as much as I focus on what I need to do at that time. And also, I have the knowledge, faith, that everything's going to work out. And I just do. I just know everything's going to be okay. And sometimes that provides me with a lot of solace, and sometimes not so much. But those are the techniques that I use. Thanks for asking.